Hey guys, Kimmy Vapes here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Luxotic NC mod with the Guillotine V2 RDA by Jaybo and Wismec. Let's have a vape, go down below, and take a closer look. Okay, and here is the Luxotic NC Parallel and Series mod, a collaboration between Jaybo and Wismec. So here's how it comes in your packaging. This was sent to me for the purpose of review by vapesourcing.com. That's why you see this sticker sample not for sale. I will include a link down below to vapesourcing.com if you'd like to go check out their website. Flipping over the box, you'll see on the back here, we just have a few device specs. It comes with the Luxotic NC mod, the Guillotine V2 RDA, 2 battery sleeves for 18650, since this mod does do 2700 or 18650. And then of course they call it a mouthpiece, which would be your drip tip, 2 Clapton 0.28 ohm coils, cotton user manual, warning card, and spare parts. Let's go ahead and open up the box. And you'll see the RDA and mod is all in one here on the top. Put that to the side. Down underneath the foam cover, you're going to see here is your user manual, which explains how to power on the device, how to switch from parallel to series configuration, all that fun stuff. And then if you flip it over, you're going to see on this side is an explanation of the RDA. Here is your little bag of Japanese organic cotton sheet, battery warning card, and then in this little box here is going to be your spare parts. So here we have a Allen key, spare O-rings, grub screws, coils, and a 510 squonking pin. Okay, and here is the device itself with the Guillotine V2 RDA. You'll notice here that it has a resin drip tip that also matches this resin or acrylic body here. On the front you have Jaybo branding on the fire button. Here's your potentiometer for series mode. You can regulate this from 1.3 volts up to 5.3 volts by rotating the voltage regulator. You'll turn the regulator clockwise to increase and counterclockwise to decrease the voltage. Here on the top is where you'll switch from series and parallel. Pushing the switch to the left will put it in parallel mode. That's the mode I've been running it most in. And then switching it to the right will put it in series mode. To install your batteries, you'll slide this bottom plate forward. Inside, when you first get the mod, make sure that you take out the inserts if you plan to use 2700 batteries. You can have 2 18650 battery inserts. The batteries that I'll be using are the iJoys, and not sure if you can see down in there, but the bottom inside is clearly marked positive down or positive up, depending on how you're holding the mod, but your positive is going to go towards the 510. So I'm placing both my batteries, positive towards the 510, both my negatives facing up towards me. If you look on the back there, it will show indicators on your plate as well for both negatives. Slide the plate back in place, and you do have battery ventilation on the bottom. To power the mod on, you're going to go 5 clicks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And when it's in parallel mode and you power it on, that light will stay white. It'll flash 5 times white when you first power it on, and every time you take a vape, it'll be white. If you're in series mode, that light will glow red. And to power device off, 5 clicks. and now your device is off. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Guillotine V2 RDA. So the first thing I noticed when I first took this out of the package is that my Jaybo design was upside down. I was like, huh, that's weird. But you can actually flip that around because the center barrel piece is actually a reversible barrel. You can have it so that the airflow is more towards the top, or you can flip the barrel and the airflow being more towards the bottom. And then your Jaybo will be facing the right way as well. On the bottom here, you'll see that it does have this little beauty ring type tray that your atomizer will sit down in. Take that off, set that to the side for a minute. So of course it is an 810, and it is a goon style 810 with an inner O-ring, so all of your drip tips will need to be press fit 810 drip tips. On the side you have a very large open slot on either side. No knurling on this airflow controller, but I don't find it too hard. It is nice and snug, but once you put some e-liquid on those O-rings, it is fairly easy to adjust. See if I can get it off. The difficult part is getting this little top cap off with no knurling. So as you can see, the airflow adjustment for the top cap is a press fit Ultim insert inside the top here. You have a single O-ring, and the Ultim is in a somewhat conical shape. Taking a look at the barrel, here is your barrel, and as I said, the barrel is reversible. You can either have it so that the airflow is more towards the top, or you can flip it over and have the barrel more towards the side. So when you have the barrel more towards the side, it is going to come from a completely different airflow inlet, and I'll show you that when I take off the deck. So here we have a bottom airflow. The bottom airflow is angled upwards. You have two airflow holes on the inside of the deck there on either side, and they're pointing up at about a 45-degree angle upwards towards your coils. The Guillotine V2 RDA has a really deep juice well, as you can see there. It spans the full length of the RDA there. All of that is juice well down in there. You have a good 3 millimeters underneath that airflow cutout there for the bottom airflow, where juice can sit down in there, and that prevents any e-liquid from coming out of the bottom airflow. The post style is a clamp style 2-post clamp, but with 2 screws per post. So you have 2 screws on your positive side and 2 screws on your negative style clamp. Flipping it over here, you'll see that it has a hex head 510 pin, which protrudes slightly. I would have liked to see the 510 protrude just a little bit more, but it is gold plated and insulated, and of course a Phillips head holding in your negative plate. When I first got mine, the positive side was not seated all the way down in the peak insulator, so my posts were crooked. However, just removing my positive 510 and seating that positive pin down into the peak insulator fixed that problem, and everything's been working fine since. So as you can see with the barrel, if you do choose to do the bottom airflow, you are only going to have dual airflow option, as well as if you choose the top side airflow, you're only going to have dual airflow option. So the post screws included are hex head screws. I strongly recommend that if you don't have one, pick yourself up a good Torx hex head. The size 1.5 times 50 is the one that I find works for most hex head RDAs, but they have a wide assortment. You can pick them up on Amazon, at a Harbor Freight, Lowe's, Home Depot, pretty much everywhere has them, and I just find that they're really good quality and they never strip out my hex head screws. So I've unscrewed my post screws here, and you'll see that these are not spring-loaded clamps, so you'll actually have to take a pair of tweezers or something to get up in there and lift your clamp. Usually I just give it a shake and that pulls both my clamps up, and then I'm ready to put my coils in. The coils I'll be putting in today are Coralology frame staple stainless steel. Should amount to about 0.26. So pretty much what I do with all of the build decks that are either clamp style or they share the same space is I'll put my first coil in. Because my legs are so long, I'm gonna have to grab them with my tweezers to pull them up. Once I have my coil where I want it positioned, I'll go ahead and snip my leads. Now I'll take that coil that I just cut the leads on and mirror it on my other coil. So once I have my coils positioned, I'm going to keep them in place with my tools and go ahead and tighten down those clamps. Alright, so now that I got both of my coils secured, I'll go ahead and just adjust them with my tool. And I want to put them as close to above that bottom airflow as I can. Okay, so now everything's tightened down, and before I fire these on this mod, even though it is a semi-regulated mod, it does have low voltage protection, resistance protection. It also has short circuit protection and overheat for the chip protection and 10-second timeout. I always like to know what the resistance of my final build is, so I'll go ahead and put this on a regulated mod that has a ohm reader on it where I can make sure that the resistance is where I desire it to be. Alright, so now I got the coils both glowing nicely. Let's go ahead and wick it up. Alright, so because this juice well is so deep and I want to make sure that my wicks are just slightly touching the bottom of the juice well so that they can get all of the e-liquid that's down there in the juice well, I'm going to go ahead and cut my wicks down to the second O-ring on the bottom. I'm just going to take my tweezers, tuck them down in there to the bottom. Make sure that if you're using the bottom airflow, you don't want your wicks to block those two airflow holes right there that are directly under your coil. E-liquid that I'm going to be using is the Hit That Cookie Macadamia. And when you're dripping, make sure that you're not dripping towards the outside of your coil because those bottom airflow holes are right there directly underneath your coil. I like to just drip right down the center there. So we're going to use it in bottom airflow configuration. And there is no locking, so when you spin it, as you can see already, it's not unscrewing my RDA. So I'm going to have to take the top cap off, grab the deck itself. If you decide to use the included beauty ring, make sure that you place the beauty ring on and then place your top cap on before screwing it down on your RDA. If you screw it down on your RDA with just the beauty ring and the build deck, that beauty ring will slide around and get off center on the top of your mod, and you'll have difficulty putting your top cap on. We're in parallel mode. Oh, by the way, the build came out to a 0.2 exactly, which is just where I want it for the way that I vape. I could have built lower if I'm running this in parallel mode. Also, keep in mind in series, it is a semi-regulated, so I can run a 0.2, and then I can just adjust the voltage here with the little potentiometer. 5 clicks to turn it on. And it's a white LED, so we know it's in parallel mode, and now we can go ahead and vape it. We have vapor. Let's go up top, have a vape. I'll give you my thoughts and opinions about the Luxotic NC mod. Okay, and that was a close-up look of the Luxotic NC mod. So what do I think about it? Well, let's go over the Guillotine V2 RDA first. So as you saw in the up and close, I was having trouble with the clamp style deck. It's not spring loaded, and because the clamps have no way of raising or lowering on them own, be it that the post screws are sunken down into the clamps or that they're spring loaded. So installing your first set of coils, when you're first putting that first coil in, it can sometimes be difficult to get those leads in there, and I really don't like that style of deck. Also, I feel like the positioning, because the deck comes up so high, that when you're trying to get your tools in there to keep your coils held level, it can be a bit difficult. So I don't like the clamps on it. Now, as far as the airflow and the flavor on it, I am very happy with both the flavor in the side airflow configuration and the flavor in the bottom airflow configuration. I find that I get more dense flavor, more saturated flavor with the bottom airflow configuration, and then with the side airflow I find that I get more cloud production and more airflow. So the bottom airflow is just slightly restricted on the fully open side, and then on the side airflow fully open, you get lots and lots of airflow through it. I also noticed with side airflow, and this could be because of the position of my coil, but that I also get a little bit of turbulence and whistling. Nothing severe, nothing major, but I haven't really bothered to try and play with my coils and see if changing the coil position made any difference to that, because I've just really been enjoying it in the bottom airflow configuration. So that's my thoughts on the RDA. Is it a great RDA? I would say no. Because of the clamp style, it really loses my interest, and it's not something that I would go out and seek and buy because I don't like that style of clamps. The flavor is good, the vapor production is good, but building on it, I've got easier build decks. Now, as far as the mod goes, so this is my first series and parallel semi-regulated mod. I have seen a lot of people with the Noisy Cricket and the Noisy Cricket V2, but it was never anything that really just stuck out at me that I really just have to have. I have both a parallel and a series semi-regulated mechanical box mods back there, but I just never really felt the need to have a 2-in-1 series parallel mod. And the Luxotic gives you that. It gives you the option to either run in series or run in parallel. I like that they have the safety features in place. It has a 10-second cutoff. It has an on and off switch. It has low resistance protection, short circuit protection, as well as protection on the temperature of the board. If the temperature of the board raises above, I think it's 70 degrees, it will go ahead and shut off and not allow you to fire the device. So I think that's really great that they include all of those safety features. In parallel mode, which is where I run it most of the time, is in parallel. Right now I'm running that 0.2 ohm build, and it's performing perfectly for me. I'm getting the full amperage of the battery. Now keep in mind, because this is semi-regulated, as your battery drains, the vape on it is going to get weaker and weaker, and that's the way it is with mechanical mods. As you vape, you're losing the voltage on your battery, and as that battery voltage drops, so does the the amount of vapor that you're going to receive until you need to change your battery. Now this does have a low voltage for the battery's protection, so it will not fire down. I think it's below 3.2 volts. Once your batteries have drained to that, it no longer will fire. So that's good. Keeps you from over draining your batteries. So I like it in parallel. I like the look of it. I do like that they match the drip tip to the acrylic on the box. I think this is going to be one of those things where it's very subjective as far as the looks. Some people aren't going to like that it has this big metal band running through the center of that acrylic. For me, I think it's a stability reason. I don't know that for a fact, but I feel like adding that metal through the center there allows them to mount everything more securely than, say, the Basilisk mod that Wotofo did, and where with that one, if you dropped it, it broke, and it always seemed to break right at the mounting points of the board because they were drilled directly into that acrylic. I think them having this metal band there makes it more stable and probably less prone to break when you drop it. Now let's go into series mode. I have one con with the series mode in this, and that it's not a true series mode in my opinion. Because the potentiometer cuts off at 5.3 volts, you're not actually getting the full voltage that you would get in a true series mode mech mod, for example. In parallel, you get the voltage of one battery and double the milliamp hour, or the hours of battery time. So essentially in parallel mode, you're only getting 4.2 volts, or how many ever volts is left in the battery that you're using, but you get more battery time, you get more time vaping on it, and you can of course build lower. Now in series mode, you're getting full volts of both batteries, but only the milliamp hours of one battery. For me, the series mode is kind of a gimmick. I like that they include a potentiometer, and because it is semi-regulated, you can run a lower ohm build in it and be safe and okay, because it does have low resistance protection, but not being able to get that full 8 volts from my battery in series mode is kind of disappointing. So that's my thoughts on the Luxotic NC. Let me know down in the comments if you like this video. Tell me your thoughts on it. Is this something that you would go out and buy? Do you like the idea of a mod having both parallel and series all in one? Leave a comment down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Also, if you're not already, please hit that subscribe button. If you are subscribed, don't forget to hit the notification icon bell. And thank you guys, as always. See you later. Bye-bye.